And I told him the same thing I tell just about everybody when I do these is, especially with young players like this, if you do certain things, even some stuff I mentioned, if you're doing things on your own to get better and your tape gets better, especially for a young, talented player, or even if you're just getting started, you know what I mean? That's why I say, recruiting is not cookie cutter. Like evaluations are not cookie cutter. We may be sitting here next year, this time, watching his junior tape and have a totally different evaluation of him if his tape might just explode and he just may be really, it may see so much improvement from this year to next year where we're taking even Division II and, FCS off the table. You just never
Right.
know.
How to Get a College Football Scholarship, a series where we evaluate active high school football players, break down their game film, and share with them what levels they have the best chance of earning a college football scholarship at, and then ultimately share with them what they need to do to get to the next level. So joining me here is my co-host Brian Overton, who has 15 years of Division I recruiting experience, including in the SEC. So he's evaluated a player or two. And today we're going to be evaluating a sophomore linebacker, Brian, roughly 6', 220, and something along those
Yep.
lines. Texas kid. Tell me about him.
Yep. So Jackson's a 2027, really good size kid. Really liked his tape. So we're just going to, go through it here in a second and, tell you what we thought about it and then kind of tell you the divisions, that I feel like he should be targeting right now heading into the offseason of his sophomore year.
Beautiful. All right, let's do it.
All right, guys, we're going to jump into it right here. So, again, like I said, Jackson's a 2027 linebacker, good sized kid. We're going to start here. This is the very first play on his tape, which I like. So, we're going to just let it run here just to give you some context because the tape goes a little faster. He's kind of mugged up here into the line of scrimmage, showing pressure when this play starts. And he's gonna back out of it into coverage. But once he sees the ball get swung out there, he does a good job putting his foot in the ground there and triggering and coming up violently, making a really strong physical tackle. Okay, again, dropping out in coverage here, diagnosing it, showing instincts, covering ground, stick and stop tackle right there for no gain, no yards after
Yeah.
contact. Okay, really good first play, showing off some good skills at his size and his ability. And now I
One,
want to
one,
jump
one thing on
forward
that,
here
Brian,
to
too,
play
that one thing on
44.
that I really like too is I know it wasn't totally open field, but it was kind of open field. Like it wasn't like it was a crowded area right there. So the ability to get him down and get him down,
No, that was
you know what I
100%,
mean? And to get
100% good tackle in
That's
space.
tough. That's tough to do, man, at any level. So I think
100%,
that's big too. It shows
100%.
his ability to keep the guy in front of him and not let him get around. So I like that.
Yep. And so now a few adjustments that I had him make here, guys, was I really like these next couple of plays to be moved up behind that play, and I'll kind of show you why here. And it's the play here at 44 seconds. Okay. Now this is the tight copy, so this is this is a really good shot to see this play. To be honest with you, and obviously he's lined up here in the B gap. You can see just kind of his eyes, are in the right place already. And this play, the offense is getting ready to run. This is college football nowadays. They're going to run this jet sweep, kind of right at him. With the running back being the lead blocker. And you can see as he scrapes across there, what I want to emphasize here is him reading it out and he's scraping across there. And once he knows this is an outside run, he does not take a bad angle. All right, so you get coached to be a yard or two behind the ball carrier and really either run even ground, which means you're going straight across, or gain ground. So as he's going across there, he's not losing ground, and when he gets there, he makes a really good tackle. And obviously, you had some help coming in there at the end, but he was the brunt force of the tackle. So the coaching points here is he diagnosed it, right? He's scraping across, but he's not losing ground. He's gaining ground. He's taking a good angle, a yard or two behind the ball carrier, so he can't cut it back across his face. It makes a really good play there. And again, that's what you see in college football a lot right there. That's what's asked of a linebacker, at the collegiate level.
Yeah, especially with
So,
these
and then I had him the play.
high tempo spread offenses, lots of jet sweeps, a lot of RPOs. Again, the ability to go sideline to sideline at 220 as a sophomore, it's pretty good.
Yeah, really, really good play there. Really good play. And again, these two plays were back to back. So these were at 44 seconds and 51 seconds in his tape. I suggested that he take both of these and move it up behind the first two. I mean, behind the first one, excuse me. And now in this clip, again, it's the tight copy. Now he's lined up more in the A gap, almost right over the center here, probably because they're in the tight red and they're backed up. The offense is backed up in the red zone here, where they're back against the wall. So that's probably why he's more in the A gap here. And on this play, he's going to show a really good ability to shed the block, and go make a tackle for no gain. Okay, so he scrapes there. He shows really good instincts. As you can see, guys, Jackson, when the ball is handed off, there's not a lot of delay. Okay, that's really big. You can see once this ball is handed off and that running back declares, he's already heading in that direction, and he's already playing with violent hands on that center, getting him off of him to go make the tackle. And what I love right here is he meets him on about the 4-yard line, and that's where it stops. Sorry, the guard got out on him. That's exactly where the play stops.
Right.
Okay, there's no yards after contact there. Okay, so this is a really good example of diagnosing it, shedding the block with violent hands, and when he strikes him on the 4-yard line, that's where the ball is
That's the
spotted.
big thing
Okay,
there.
so a really good characteristic.
It's not going backwards.
Go ahead.
He's going forward. He's not going backwards.
Correct. Yeah, good. Both of those, all three of those plays were really good stick and stop plays at linebacker for a young linebacker at 6 foot, maybe some 6 foot and some change, 220 some pounds, to move like that, have instincts, and do some of the things he's doing as a young player. Just really excited about his future. But that's a little bit of his tape there, and I just wanted to show some of the adjustments that I suggested he make, moving those two plays up behind his first play. He had other plays in there that were really good, showed him covering ground and things like that. But wanted to show all you guys just some of the adjustments I had him make and the reasons why I thought it showed off some of his distinguishing characteristics really early in the tape, and to move those up behind the first play.
Yeah. What are the top 3 things
So heading down,
before you go down? What are the
go ahead,
top
Richie.
3 things that you're looking for from a linebacker?
It kind of depends. So, like, you know what I mean? Every evaluators are evaluating their scheme, so everybody's got to keep that in mind. So it may be a little different from every evaluator based on what they do on defense, right? Because some people are odd front defense where they got primarily three down linemen, so they have more linebacker bodies out there at one time. Some teams are primarily 4 down defensive linemen, so they don't have as many. And the teams that have odd fronts typically have more, they want more athleticism out on the edge from their outside linebackers, so they don't have to be as big, and as thick, in the run game. So it kind of depends on fit, but at a minimum in college football right now, okay, at the top of the list is physicality. Okay, you can't play linebacker at the college level at a high level without playing the game physically and violently at linebacker. So that's got to show up on tape. Instincts are a plus, but being able to cover ground in today's college football, covering ground and being able to diagnose things, not lose ground when you strike people, either knocking them back or tackle, stick and stop plays where that's the end of the play. And then, like you brought up in the first play a little bit, being able to tackle in space now at the linebacker position is at a premium as well, just because of how the offenses are run for the most part here in college football now. So those are the things that, if they stand out on tape, are definitely going to help you. And then you can plug in based on, again, the scheme, how big they are and what you're asking them to do. So, it's not in today's college football, it's not a cookie cutter mold, I would say, of height and weight and size, because it kind of depends on what they're asking them to do. Because there's some guys playing college football right now, that are, that linebacker are 210 pounds that are having really good years, but it's because of they're used in the right way in that
Yeah.
scheme. Is
I
my
mean, look at
point.
I don't know if you've seen him, Suntarian Perkins, the linebacker at Ole Miss. He's 205 pounds. I think he leads the country in sacks or close to it. I
Yeah,
think he led the
because he
SEC.
fits their
He's a true
scheme.
sophomore. Only 205
Yeah,
pounds. That's
so that's
it.
I mean, perfect example of a guy that just fits their scheme at linebacker and what they're asking him to do, and he has the qualities, to be able to thrive in that scheme. So, like I said, some of those things are just non-negotiable, and then some other ones are kind of based on the scheme, what you're looking for at linebacker.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's talk about divisions.
Uh,
What division does he have the best chance of
yeah,
of
so
earning a scholarship in?
Yeah, so with Jackson, kind of when I told him in his evaluation, because of certain characteristics that we just talked about. Okay, he's about 6 feet. You know what I mean? If he doesn't, you obviously can't control how tall you are, but even if he doesn't gain another inch or doesn't grow another inch, the rest of his high school career, he's going to be 6 foot. But I imagine he will at least grow another inch or so. So I mean, I'm ballparking, projecting about 6'1", as a median. He's already 225 pounds. He's plenty big right now. To be honest with you, if he could hold that weight, that would be great. And based on what I see on tape right now and some of the distinguishing characteristics he has, if I was him heading into the off season right now, I would be targeting really heavily Division two, FCS Division one, and G5 Division one right now as a sophomore. And the reason I say that is I think right now he's a no brainer. He's a Division two player right now as a sophomore, in my opinion, scholarship player. And I would suggest, heavily reaching out and doing outreach to FCS and G5 because I think he could have a lot of success with this tape, getting on those boards early and starting to build some really early relationships with coaches at those schools. Even in going into the camp circuit, if he focused on those kind of camps and mixed in some bigger ones if he wanted to, because, I wouldn't rule out like a bigger, power force seeing his frame as a sophomore and him getting on the board. But I'm talking about like, the most bang for your buck that I feel really comfortable with, that I know, not that I know, or that I really feel like will really like what they see at a young age. I would really target those divisions because I think he can get some really good momentum with some action in those divisions right now as a sophomore. And some things I told him, that he needs to focus on, to get better is I told him to really focus on change of direction, keeping that. If you can get that at a high level at 220, 25 pounds and his long speed, really be able to run and go numbers to numbers, in today's college football, he will be at a premium. If he continues to get better and bigger and stronger, he's already a strong kid as a sophomore, but he can add those characteristics, to the ones he already has. He's got a really, really bright
Yeah.
future. But again, those are the divisions I feel like he can target with a lot of confidence and really get some early
Yeah.
momentum. Really good
And a lot
player.
of times we do teach, 50%, 40%, or 50%, excuse me, 30%, 20%. But I think for him, it would be 33, 33, 33, right? 33% on D2, 33% on FCS, and a third of his time on G5 based on the fact that he's younger and his
Yeah, and
upside.
maybe even heavier G5 FCS. To be honest with you, because I think he's a no brainer Division
And the
two guy
the
right
purpose of
now.
the
So
D2 is just to
I
get
mean,
momentum. It's just to get the traction.
yeah, he's gonna play out. He's gonna play out the D2s probably really quickly. So that's why I say it's never really cookie cutter. Even in the advice we give them, sometimes those percentages can be a lot. It can be interchangeable depending on the situation, and the type of player they are and things like that. So, um, I just try to explain that as good as I can in the video. But he's a really really good young player with a bright
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the things that you have him working on, the big thing that I notice is the long speed, the ability to go sideline to sideline. If you look at some of the top backers and even the SEC and in the Power 4 conferences, you've got to be able to do that. You don't typically see a guy sitting there at 240 like once before. I think a lot of these guys are more, they're faster, they're a little lighter. 220 is probably a sweet spot. So depending on his body fat percentage and his frame, working on that speed, I think is going to be huge for him. If he gets faster and he can go sideline to sideline with receivers and running backs, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for him.
And I told him the same thing I tell just about everybody when I do these is, especially with young players like this, if you do certain things, even some stuff I mentioned and some other, if you're doing things on your own to get better and your tape gets better, especially for a young, talented player, or even if you're just getting started, you know what I mean? That's why I say, recruiting is not cookie cutter. like evaluations are not cookie cutter. We may be sitting here next year this time watching his junior tape and have a totally different evaluation of him. If his tape might just explode and he just may be really, it may see so much improvement from this year to next year, where we're taking even Division II and FCS off the table. You just never
Right.
know. So this is when you get young players like this, it's a total projection. But I feel really good about him getting a little better every year.
Awesome.
So,
all right, cool. Brian, thanks for sharing that and breaking down this video with me, and then giving him the divisions as well as what he needs to do to get to the next level. If you would like to get a professional evaluation for your son, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can see if he meets the criteria. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to watch more videos just like it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.